Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, we are live inside of the Chillicothe Sports Card Studio in downtown Chillicothe for another episode of Bad Company, a SOSA production produced and sponsored by the Driving Authority, Hometown Chevrolet, and Chillicothe Truck. I am your co-host, Brock Netter, alongside my guy, Derrick Webb. And Derrick, it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, but it was shorter time span than it was our first couple of episodes, right? We said we'd be back soon, so we are.
That is true.
Yep.
This is the first episode of 2026. Just so everyone is currently updated, today is January 14th, so we're coming to you guys on Wednesday. We have no idea when this is going to drop. I'm going to guess
Probably a couple days.
Yeah, I'm going to guess on Friday or Saturday is when it's going to drop. But today's topic, basketball goats.
Goats.
We have been at this since 2012, so this is year 14. Wow, which is crazy to think. Now that I just said that out loud, year 14 for us, and we've seen a lot over those 14 years. We've seen state championships, we've seen miraculous runs, we've seen epic classics left and right. We've seen great players, great coaches, great fan bases. So we figured we would dive into some of the basketball goats when it comes to individual players, when it comes to teams and coaches. So, Derrick, you want to start us off? Who you got on your list? Starting with the players.
There's not a LeBron James on my list because he's not the GOAT. Michael Jordan.
I do have a theory about this. I guess since we're already here, I do have a theory about this. I think the only reason that that most people will say that Jordan is the GOAT is simply because he played first.
No, I mean, he was just, he didn't flop. I mean, there's that.
Really? You want to go back?
His finals record. I mean, come on. How many's he got?
Okay.
And how many does LeBron have? And how many teammates did he buy to get some? And he still didn't. I mean, I'm just saying. Brock.
Did he buy?
If you can't tell, Brock is a LeBron fan.
I am. That is very true.
And I am not.
I was at the state championship in 2003 when I watched.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's an NBA player. He should win that. I'm just saying.
I mean, it was a senior of high school, but
yeah. I mean, Ray Chambers won an NBA or a state title. Is he the GOAT? Like, that doesn't mean anything. It means they had a good team around him, like LeBron has always had. That's exactly what I mean. I'm glad you said that.
Oh, that was your point. So we have completely gone off on a tangent.
Yeah, aside from LeBron.
Yeah, but it's okay. Only one is still playing. But anyway, basketball GOAT. Do you want to start this off or shall I?
Well, that's why he still has all the point records, because he's still playing.
Because he's still one of the top 5 players in the world.
He won't go away. That's the whole thing.
I mean, if you were a top 5 baseball player in the world, would you keep playing after 20 years?
I mean, I don't think baseball players do if they're top 5. They just keep continuing to produce.
That's my point.
He's just not Jordan. That's all it is.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
His you know what? His shoes didn't even sell as well.
His shoes didn't sell as well?
His sneakers didn't.
They're still going.
So are Jordan's.
Okay, once again, because Jordan was first.
Who's made more money?
Jordan was first.
Nope.
Jordan was. They're both billionaires.
We're not here to talk about the NBA, Brock.
You started this.
No, we're here to talk about the high school goats in Southeast District, and for those of you that don't know, our first 6 years was just pretty much in the SVC and in Waverly and Chillicothe.
Yep.
And so then when we started SOSA, we brought in the SOC and the FAC, the entire conferences, then eventually the SHAC and the OVC and the TVC. And for those of you out there, Brock doesn't know this yet, but in the tournament, we're going to pick up a couple other teams this year.
Really?
This is breaking news.
I had no idea.
No, I think in the tournament, we're going to adopt the entire Southeast District.
Oh, okay.
So
we're going to the Twins league.
Yep.
To the Twin City.
I
believe that's what
so.
We're
not going to cover the whole league.
Yeah.
Right? Because I ain't driving to Zanesville unless I have to. Okay. There's just nothing wrong with Zanesville. I like going there, but
that's fair.
Those are late night and early mornings. So no, we're going to pick up like New Lexington, Marietta.
Okay. We're going into Perry County.
Yeah, into Washington and Perry, and then I'm forgetting Warren, Logan. If they're going to be playing in, and our philosophy has always been, and this is kind of how we picked up the TVC.
That's true.
We're already there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And a lot of times we'll cover a game and then we'll have a break because we didn't cover either of those two teams.
Yeah.
And then we covered another game. We're like, well, you know, what do we do for 2 hours except sit on our hands? And we might as well just give those kids coverage too. I think we're going to do that in tournament season.
Okay, well, I like it.
We're already busy. Why not just adopt more?
It's very true.
You know, Southeastern High School, you know, of course, Waverly High School, the Convo. You know, they're becoming our second home here in the winters, and we're already there.
Honestly, we should look at rental property in Athens.
We should. Yeah. I mean, we should set up tents or something.
I don't know about tents. It's cold right now.
We just live in a dorm.
I mean,
I've been there.
I mean,
I can direct you in the right place.
That is true. You did go to school there. That is true.
So, but anywho, we go off on a lot of tangents here. The goats. We're going on the goats. I just wanted our viewers to know, all 105 of you, to know that. I just wanted our viewers to know that we are going to, try to cover some of those teams, and hopefully, because we made that announcement, we'll get like double, and we'll get to 210.
I hope so.
But I guess going back to my earlier point, then when we started SOSA, we kind of expanded, and we do now cover most of the Southeast District. So some of your teams in some of you people from these schools, I should say, from the SOC or especially from the SHAC, the TVC, the OVC, you got to remember when we name our goats, we did not watch or probably cover your goats back then.
Very true.
We do still have that we consider goats, a few of those players on our teams.
100%.
So what we're going to do is we're going to name 2 teams, 3 coaches from a boys and a girls program, and then 3 players from a boys and a girls program, and 2 teams from girls and boys as well. So we're going to start with teams.
Okay.
And I think for those of you that know me, it's fairly easy pick for my first team. We're going to go with boys. We'll go boy, girl, and the 2014, 15. Go ahead, Brock. You know who I'm talking about. The Untitled Shermans and the Fighting Matt Hoops.
All right.
That was probably the first team for me that I just had so much fun covering. They were just so dynamic, and they were fun to watch every night. You didn't know what was going to happen. There could be, alley oops. There were 3-pointers. I mean, they could sit down and play defense. They were just very, very good. And if you remember, they're 26-1, I believe.
Yeah, 26-1 that year.
And their one loss was to Walnut Ridge and Malik Willis, who now plays linebacker in the NFL.
Malik Harrison.
Malik Harrison. I'm sorry. And went on to play for Ohio State, and he was a football player. But they were up in that game, and it was a heartbreaking loss at the Convo. But I truly believe they win that game. They go to the state semifinal, and then who knows? But that team liked each other. They loved each other, and they liked being around each other. And they had a great coaching staff. There with Nick Easterday and our own John Bruce.
Yep.
And I believe Corey White was on that staff.
I think so at the time. Yeah.
And then of course Matt Hoops is the head coach.
Yeah. He hadn't flown the coop just yet.
Yeah. Right. He hadn't been. He wasn't a Greenfield Tiger yet. Right. No. He was. That was just such a fun team to watch, and they were probably the first team of my career where it was like, hey, I've really got something to write about here. These guys are special.
That's true.
And they were probably the first team that I considered special. They were above the rest, and they set the SVC win record. And
that was the start of that. That record, wasn't it?
Yep. And a couple players come to mind on that team. Obviously, Eric Hosley, Cole Cottrell. I think Logan Swackhammer was a baby. I think he was a freshman.
He was a freshman on that team.
Which would mean that Brandon Kennedy was there as well as a baby, and
Nick Overly.
Then what careers they had going forward.
Nick Corcoran as well.
Nick Corcoran was there, and he was probably the best player at a lot of times on the court. And Nick Overly, as you mentioned, I know I'm forgetting somebody. Later on you had Isaac Wheeler and. Even further, Peyton.
I think Alec Atkins was on that team.
Alec Atkins was on that team. That's right. Yeah. Alec was a sharpshooter. So, just really that. And I know I'm forgetting names. I'm getting old. I turned 35 in 10 days. But back then, I was turning 25, and I'll never forget the article that I wrote after they beat. I believe it was Warren, and I think the lead was still undefeated or still. That's what still something, and it's still undefeated.
Yeah.
So a lot of people didn't think that team could go that far in our community, and it's Untitled, and just, I mean, there are a lot of people rooting against Untitled, and it was just cool to see them put it together.
It's nice to know that 10, 11 years later, there's still people who still root against.
Yeah, even nothing's changed.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. It doesn't really matter who's coaching or who's playing.
Yeah.
It's the name on the jersey.
And I understand it. I get it. I mean, I don't like teams that win a ton too, like even in the major sports. I mean, but it's like anything else.
Despite the fact you're wearing a Yankees hat.
First of all, I grew up watching the Yankees.
Okay.
And I'm named after Derek Jeter.
The spelling is different.
Now, that's Joel's fault. So, I don't think I'm named after Derek Jeter, but he was my favorite player as a kid. He was my name. And to be fair, for all you Reds fans out there, my son's name's Larkin for Barry, so I don't want to hear it. So, but I get it. I understand the Untitled hate, and here's why. We cover Wheelersburg.
Yeah.
They get the same type of thing down there.
That is true.
Fairlands and the OVC. You could almost argue that, Eastern Brown and the Shack, especially in the basketball sense. So I get it, and I think that's almost even made it more fun to cover because they just kept winning.
That's true.
And I think they knew, we're kind of a cool story, and then I'll let you pick your team.
I already know where you're going with this.
I don't know I don't think it was that year, but it was close to after that. Matt Hoops and I we've become really close friends, and they were playing Piketon, and Piketon was a good team. They had Tanner Perdue on that team, and they were going to Piketon. And I told him, I said, hey, you're kind of like the evil empire invading Piketon tonight, And so he had sent me a text message before the game. I can't remember what I had to do, and it was he was wearing black and white for the Imperial colors for Star Wars, and because when they ran in on the court, they played the Imperial March.
Yeah.
That da 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 da. So yeah, good memories. It makes that makes basketball fun.
That's true. That's true. My team, I'm going to go with some close history.
Okay.
Being last year actually.
Yep.
The 2024-25 Medford Falcons.
Yep.
Just a fantastic team, exceptionally well coached. Josh Shoemaker, did a great job. Just a group of guys who had been through the battles.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made that team so special is that we had the chance to cover them from the minute they stepped into high school.
Yep.
And I mean, we kind of got to see, them grow, their progression. We also got to see their struggles. And we got to see them get to district titles and fail in district titles and get back to a district title and then fail again.
In a game they were supposed to win.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just in a way you couldn't help but just want it for them.
Yep.
And I mean, it had been 30 years up to that point, I believe. So their last district title was back in 1995. So just heading into what was last season, so much hype around them, understandably so. I mean, Miles Montgomery, Bennett Kaiser, Jackson Shoemaker, just a litany of kids with such great talent, great experience, just continuing to punch the ceiling, wanting to finally break through, and to see them finally get over that hump.
Do it, right.
Yeah,
yep.
it was absolutely, it was kind of cathartic and euphoric at the same time. Just being in the convo that night, seeing them celebrate, seeing just some tears fall from their faces because it just meant so much to them. And then they just continue that run like, well, I mean, we're already here. Like, why would we stop now? Like, yes, the district title was their ultimate goal just because they wanted to have that number on the banner. But then they kept going. And then they kept going. And I mean, that regional final against Chesapeake, they were just a runaway train.
Yeah.
And I mean, they just could not be stopped. I mean, highlighted by a huge dunk from Bennett Kaiser, which is in our beginning video, I believe. So
he got teed up.
Yeah, he did.
Shouldn't have, but he did.
Well, they were up 18. He didn't care at that point.
He earned it, didn't he?
He knew what was coming. He knew. So yeah, just to see that team triumph in the way in the way that they did, to see the bond that they had. Me and you, we got the chance to kind of get super close.
Yep.
With those kids, covering them in various sports, seeing their successes, seeing their failures, see how they bounce back, and I mean, they made last year a lot of fun. They had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun covering them. I got the chance to give them my phone a couple of times, and I mean the whole time I'm like, please just don't say anything dumb. Please don't say anything dumb. And I mean, luckily everyone who's done it has been very chill about it. They've been very cool, just very celebratory about it. So yeah, the 2024-5 Menford Falcons, they would be my first pick.
Well, you can just keep talking because they were my second. So for those, we didn't talk about
we did not
what we picked, and we figured we would match on a couple, and so this is our first. We come to our first match, but I think what made them so special is that soccer run before, and not that the basketball team didn't have its own moxie, but
100%.
Like Miles Montgomery, we mentioned Miles. He was a real key cog to that soccer team that went to the state final, state championship game, and then you're like, well, you've already been here in soccer. How do you top this in basketball? And they did. I mean, they go to the state semifinal and win another regional title, and the girls soccer team does it as well, and then the girls basketball team that year goes to regional final. I mean, what a year for Menford sports! But
100%.
They just. Like you said, they were high flying, high octane, and entertaining from the start. And probably what I liked more than anything about that team is they would always never shy away from their faith.
Very true.
And you see a lot of like pro interviews where they're like, I want to thank God for this, and did God give you that win? And it's like, wait, why are you? But they meant it. They meant it from the heart. Wheelersburg's boys soccer team last year was the same way, and I just appreciate that a little more than because of my own beliefs, and they really believed it, and they put it to use and spread it. Which is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So yeah.
So I guess you pick your second.
All right, my second team.
I've already picked my two.
That's true. My second team, I'm going to stay in the SOC, but I'm going to go back about 3 or 4 years. I'm going to go with and I'm pretty sure my year is correct on this, the 2021-22 Waverly Tigers.
I don't remember that far back.
You're not that old.
I think you're correct. I want to say
I'm pretty sure that was it. That team made their run all the way to the Final Four. So, I mean, they as well had a lot of hype coming into the year. And I mean, they more than just lived up to. They surpassed any expectation ever. I believe that was Waverly's first ever Final Four. I'd have to. I'm trying to think in my memory the story that I wrote about them beating Heath to win the regional title. I want to maybe in the 70s they went to the Final Four. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but I do know that
probably need to do research before we do these shows.
Maybe so. but hey,
we've covered so much basketball we forget. I understand.
But the one. Despite the things that we sometimes do forget, the one thing I do remember was the celebration that they had the minute that the buzzer sounded. It was an overtime game against Heath, and the place went insane. I definitely thought Travis Robertson was going to keel over and possibly die at midcourt because he had so much energy going through him. And I mean, understandably so. As a coach, you're happy for the individual success, but you're more happy about your team's success.
Yeah.
And the fact that those kids put in all that time, the work, the effort that they did to just make that season what it was. I mean, it was truly special. And I mean, they were blowing teams out left and right. But once it got to the nitty gritty and it started, at the district championship, I believe it was the district championship that they played in McLean. I believe it was. No, that was the Sweet 16. It was a Sweet 16 game.
I can't remember again.
No, I do remember that because McLean won the district title, Waverly won the district title, and they met in the Sweet 16. We live streamed that game.
Well, we tried to.
Yeah, shout out to you for the for the internet issue. Hopefully 4 years later you got that worked out.
That was an infamous night in SOSA history.
Cool. we've changed a lot since that night, but nonetheless,
For those of you that know, they know.
yeah,
You know.
if you know, you know. But that team was incredibly special. Trey Robertson leading the way, 2,000 point score.
Yep.
Had Will Futhy, Braylon Robertson. I believe he was.
Yep.
I believe
he was a freshman.
I believe he was a freshman at that time.
Who went on to score 1,000 points.
Yep, sure did. And I mean, you know, just a litany of kids and names and a litany of talents that came together for one common goal. And
Phoenix on that team.
I
think it was him or Penn Morrison.
Yeah. Penn was on that team.
These people watching are probably like, this is like being at an old folks home.
Possibly.
Back then,
back in my day,
I think it was Penn Morrison.
That team just came together. You know, the community, you know, rallied around them. They wanted it just as bad as they did, and that celebration when that final buzzer went off against Heath, they won 46-45 in overtime. It was something special. And the thing that I remember most about that, well, actually, there's two things about Waverly's season that year that I remember the most. One was the feature story that I did about the Robertsons.
Yeah. Yep.
That was a lot of fun to just sit down with them. And I mean just tell their story about two sons and a father. And I mean just their dynamic and how basketball brought them closer together as a family. I also remember that I lost a free throw contest to Trey Robertson. No one knows this, and no one will believe me, even though I'm going to tell this anyway.
I don't believe you already.
I know. You can ask Corey Hall about this.
Okay.
Before I decided to challenge Trey, the only reason that I decided to challenge Trey was because before that I had made 14 straight. I was wrong.
14 straight.
I made 14 straight, and I said, you know what? I got a hot hand right now. I can beat Trey. So I said, Trey, let's go. Me, you, free throw contest, 10 of them.
And what'd you hit?
I hit 5, I believe.
So you're trying to tell me that you hit 14 straight and missed 5 of 10?
Well, see. Here's what you don't understand. As I can say this as part of the big guy club.
Okay, all right.
When you have momentum, you don't want to stop.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
Because your momentum is going. You're
just give me the ball. Let's go.
Like, let's go. Between me missing that last shot and me challenging Trey was about 15 minutes in between.
Yeah, that's fair.
So all the mojo had just completely left me, and at that point I was running on faith. And I had faith. Faith did not quite have me. It favored Trey a little bit more, which understandably so. I mean, he played basketball a lot longer than I did up to that point. He beat me 8-5, and I credit that he took my powers just like the Monstars, and that's what led them to the Final Four.
It's fair. Well, you're not saved by your works; you're saved by faith. So there you go. Into coaches, our GOAT coaches. We're gonna do 3 on the boys and 3 on the girls team or programs. What do you want to start with, boys?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll start with the boys.
We'll start with boys. So my 3, I'll start here. Rob Bugler, Eastern Brown. I think it's hands down. I don't think it's close that he's one of probably the best, 3 coaches that I've ever seen coach. Mm-hmm. He has a little bit of that old style feel, but he also can adapt. Yeah, and he has adapted, to a new style of play, and really, if you think about a new style of player. Yeah, it's funny. I asked him a couple weeks back. They beat Peebles in a heck of a game, and they were up 16 at one point, and then were down with like 16 seconds left, before they ended up coming back and winning it. And I said, so how many curse words did you say? And he's like, none. The Lord don't like that. He said, now, what I would have used to said, I used to said a lot. He said, but, they don't like if you do that anymore. And so it was a kind of a chuckle moment, but he's right. And it kind of said, huh. Mm-hmm. He's also adapted to a new type of player as well, and he still wins ball games, man. That guy just racks them up down in Brown County, and he's a local legend down there. I mean, there's no question about that. Mm-hmm. And he's got his team sitting still undefeated this year. Even he's been to a bunch of big time tournament games, and I know you have to have talent to win games, but I feel like Rob is a coach where even the years where he doesn't have maybe a ton of talent, they still piece together winning seasons. They're always a tough out. I don't care how many wins they have in a year. They're constantly you don't want to play Eastern Brown in the tournament. You're gonna have your hands full.
Very true.
Coaches that can do that year after year after year, there's a reason, and it's not because they got a ton of talent. It's because of the coaching and that they do, their coaching staff around them, just how they run their program. So my first pick would be Mr. Rob Buechler.
That's a fantastic pick. That was actually the first coach that I had actually put down on my list.
Okay.
So. Although I could also double down on that, which I would, because he absolutely deserves it. I'm going to spread the wealth.
Okay, all right.
Spread the wealth, and I'm going to go with Norm Pearson on this.
I got to look at my list.
I know that. I know it's easy to say kind of just revisionist history. What have you done for me lately? Well,
right.
I mean, they did go to the Final Four last year.
True.
They did do that.
But he's been there before.
Exactly. He's been there before. He's won a state title as well. But even not just going by his resume, I've gotten the chance to see him coach for the last 7 years, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. And I mean, leading Oak Hill, going to Valley, going to South Webster, and just to see how the programs kind of elevate a little bit. Every program, they have their certain standard, and I mean, with those programs, he came in, kind of elevated it a little bit, left it better than he found it, and I mean, still South Webster doing his thing. Win number 832 puts him number 2 all time in the OHSA record book. So congratulations, coach, on that. I've been able to have a lot of conversations with him. I remember a lot of the stories that he told me when he decided to leave Oak Hill.
Yep.
I almost said I sat down with him. I did not sit down with him. I called him on the phone, and had about a 45-minute conversation. And I mean, he was just telling me how the kids kind of gravitated towards him, the things that he was telling them to kind of just elevate their confidence. And I mean, he does have a court named after him as well. I mean, down in Chesapeake, he does have a court named after him. So I mean, you got to be pretty good to do that. You got to be pretty good.
They need to build the statue.
They probably should. They
probably
should.
The thing about Norm is he has 832 wins, sure, but he only has like 230 some losses.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the more amazing thing is he's not 800 and 800. He's 800 and 200 or whatever it is. I mean, that's impressive in itself. And you have to win ball games to, honestly, to be in this conversation. So,
true.
Speaking of winning ball games, I would be remiss if I did not mention Matt Hoops in this conversation.
Fair.
Matt was the first coach of mine that he wasn't my coach, but the first coach, you know what I mean, that I, had the chance to talk to that I instantly clicked with. And I was like, God, this guy's awesome. And then I really found out that nobody else thought that. And so
he doesn't mind us saying
no,
this.
And he knows it's true. And it's, well, and it goes back to the Untitled thing. And but I will tell you this, and I've told Matt this, on the court, he's the fiercest competitor.
Yep.
And I probably wouldn't like him either if my kid had to play against him. Off the court, he's A+ class all the way.
Yep.
And when you really get to know how he runs the program and how the kids look up to him and how he not just leads basketball players but leads young men, well, then you understand, okay, yeah, this guy's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. Probably one of my favorite stories I've ever written. I was with Matt on the bus ride to, I think they played Warren a couple years after that 2014-15 team. And we wrote a time by time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We said,
I remember that.
1:30 p.m., Coach Hoops walks out of his room and looks at the the band on his arm, and it says E+R = O for adversity. And it was just such a cool feature to write. And I mean, just through the years, Matt and I have gotten closer as friends. But as a coach, that is the type of coach that I want my kid to play for. I want him to be, whatever. If I want him to be disliked because he wins so much, that means my kid wins so much, And if my kid's happy, and every one of Matt Hoops' kids, I've never heard a story where they weren't.
That's very true.
Well, then the parents are happy, So he's my second GOAT, and I mean his record speaks for itself as well. He's the winningest coach in Untitled history, boys or girls. That probably changes soon with Jeff Miller there on the girls' side, you're really creeping up on that record. But the thing about Matt is then he goes to football and I think he's close to being the winningest coach in Untitled history in only 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
so
something like that.
There's a common denominator with all 3 coaches we've already mentioned, and this is going to continue, is they win ball games.
Yep.
And Matt Hoops won ball games.
Yep, very true. I won't say every time that I see Hoops I ask him this, but there are a few times I see him, I'm like, so when are you getting the statue? And he's just like, shut up, dude. Like, now's not the time. Like it's 15 minutes before a game. I'm like, look, I got you to loosen up a little bit.
But the craziest thing about him is what he remembers. Like Matt would tell you, well, I don't deserve a statue because I missed a call in a 69-67 game with 2:14 left in 1990.
That's true.
I mean, he would be able to tell you that, and he's just so good with numbers. I mean, you have to be that way, and the mind of a basketball coach, and man, Matt's got it, and obviously he's having success on the football field now too. But I miss him on the basketball court, and I love Matt Combs, a great coach,
fantastic coach.
And but Matt Hoops was the first, like I said, where I was like, all right, I want to go to that practice. I want to go to see that team play, and they were good, and he had a ton of talent, but. Half the reason I wanted to go was to be able to talk to Matt after the game, and I watched his boys grow up, from ball boys to players, and then covered his kids, and just a good dude and a great coach. I shouldn't say that. A great dude and a great coach. He'd be like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? He's a great dude and a great coach.
Very true. I think this is how I know that we're kind of getting old. Is you just said we watch his kids grow up.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
So I did an interview. One of the first interviews I've ever done was with Alan Blue. I wrote a story about Coach Blue at Untitled, and the first time I ever talked to Matt, I walked up to him before he played. I want to say it was Zane Trace, and
sounds about right.
Brian Alley was their coach at the time, and I walked up to him and tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, Coach Blue, I want to write a feature about him. Can I do that?" And he was like, "Absolutely. What's your name?" And so, I kind of laughed and introduced myself. So I go to the practice, and I see Coach Blue, and I interviewed Chase Titillion and Nick Corcoran with Coach Blue. But at the time, Blake and Newton, Matt's boys, were about this big, and they were shooting the basketball around the gym.
They're probably what, 5th graders at that time?
I'm not sure. I mean, I know they're in college now, and Blake's freshman in college. Newton's what, a sophomore? Sophomore, junior in college, and now that's how you know you're getting old. But yeah, the family. It was. I mean, his last name's Hoops.
That's true.
So he should just be a GOAT there.
I mean, that's fair. He does have the ultimate basketball.
He does.
Ultimate basketball name, ultimate basketball resume to back it up as well.
You're right.
Speaking of Matt, I'm gonna stay on the Matts, and I'm gonna go with Matt Combs.
Well, I figured that. Yeah.
I mean, you might as well. It's just right there. Over 20 years of Vinton County, 3 district titles, won over 300 games there. I believe somewhere around there. I mean, just took that program to unbelievable heights, and set an unbelievable standard, one that he was visibly angry about if he didn't meet year after year after year. I mean, their standard is still their standard. It does not matter because of just everything that he did there.
Yep.
Had a correct me if I'm wrong. He had a battle for a while.
Well, that's what we just talked about. Some coaches have, before we went on air, but, some coaches have a ton of talent and they win games. And Matt Combs did not have a ton of talent all of the time, but he won games. He was one of those coaches where it's like, Vinton County might, they might finish 500 this year. And then they're in the district final all of a sudden.
Very true. Very true.
And speaking of the Matts, they're good friends, and obviously Matt Combs took over for Matt Hoops and Untitled now. But I did a feature on them, and it was a video interview, and they've always been good buddies and played together back in high school, and so I just put them both on video and then asked them questions that they both had to answer. And I think my favorite question I asked him was, who has the more technical fouls? And I think it was Matt Combs, and it wasn't close. All right,
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Combs on this one.
Maybe he had a longer time to rack them up.
I mean, that's very true.
But very true. You're right. He brings that fiery, coaching style, and he brings out the best in his players, talent or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a great pick.
The best way I guess I could put about his coaching style and just how I've seen it from my eyes. I've often heard the comparison that Nick Saban, when he was at Alabama, he often got the most out of his guys, and he did it so much that he was squeezing their talent to where they got to the NFL and they're like, okay, yeah, he's great. Now we want him to be better,
right?
But you kind of squeeze all the talent out of Alabama.
He knew the buttons to push.
Exactly, and I mean, I think that's what Matt Combs does. He squeezes all of the talent out of his guys that he possibly can. They want to play for him. He wants to coach hard for them. He wants them to win. He wants them to win at any cost, but do it the right way.
And he's been at Unio to what, 1 year?
1 year, yeah.
And he's won one district title.
Exactly.
I mean, that speaks for itself.
Exactly. So he just went from one excellent program to another excellent program, and the winning just stayed.
Yeah.
Still winning 20 games, still won a district title. And I mean, still has the Shermans, atop the SEC, still winning games right now, and they're probably going to be back in the district final. Will not shock me if they're hoisting another district title.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about each coach now has 300 plus wins at least.
Yeah.
I've got one more that has over 4, I know, and that's Gary Kellogg.
Yep.
I mean, state title to his name at Chillicothe. He started out at Zane Trace, Chillicothe, went back home. Then he's kind of, what was it, Southeastern for a while, helping out. And, he's like the Ron Hinton of basketball, right? He just cannot stay away from the game because he loves it so much. And the results speak for themselves, like you said. He's legendary in the Ross County area.
Yep.
And, I mean, we've said it with all these coaches, but the winning follows. And, obviously that 2007, 2008, kind of sits near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah, it definitely does.
We were in the stands and we went to school there. And,
Man, what a game. I was talking about that the other night.
Well, it's just, I mean, they were not, that team was really good.
Yeah.
They weren't supposed to beat Toledo.
No, they weren't.
I mean, they're, and maybe Poland Seminary, maybe to get there, right? But a lot of people thought they'd lose to Columbus de Sales in the regional final.
That's true.
And I think was Clark Kellogg's kid played?
No. That was the year before.
Oh, okay.
That was
gotcha.
the year before they lost.
And they beat them too.
Yeah, that was the year before because in the regional final they beat the doors off Meadowbrook. I remember it.
Yeah,
it was 89-42.
That's right. Yeah. Well, and that team in 07-08, we were friends with a lot of that team, and so I was working at the school newspaper at the time, and I got to interview Gary during that run. So that obviously sits near and dear to my heart, and I'll never forget those moments. And Gary's probably one of my first ever interviews of anybody, not just coaches, but anybody, and. It was just really cool to see that run put together with the guys in place. Obviously, Humpty Hitchens and Ray Chambers were the big names, but I mean, you throw in Ron Smith and Stu Beverly and Caleb Knights and Seth Doss and all of the guys that did it with them in practice. I mean, our buddies, Alex Groh and James Van Voris, and I mean the list goes on. Greg Van Volkenberg. I mean, I think of that team a lot fondly of just. Those were our guys.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in class with them at 1 p.m. and then by 7 they were superheroes.
Yeah.
And that's really what they meant to our school and our class, and Gary was their leader.
Yeah.
They come back, they win the state title, they come back Chillicothe, have the parade, they're signing autographs. I mean, it's just such a cool time, and that state title meant so much. To our community, and Gary was just a perfect face for that. And
sure was.
He's never been shy for a word.
Nope.
And so he was a perfect guy to lead that charge. And, when he gets to Zane Trace, they still continue to win. Cam Evans and, I don't think Pierce played for him. Pierce played with Alan Coker. And so he was right after Alan. But Gary still had, a ton of talent. Triton Davidson and Nick Nesser and, again, Luke Johnson. I know I'm forgetting some, but it was just so cool to see him and then be able to cover him after what he did. Kind of in our glory days, our childhood, right?
For sure.
We were just becoming adults, and it was like, man, this is what it's supposed to be like. And, not a lot of kids can experience that state title run. We got to, and I think in both of our minds, a lot of that was because of Gary Kello.
100%, 100%. Quick story about Coach K.
We spent a lot of time on this podcast talking about Coach K.
I know we have, but it's understandable.
Yeah.
He was my substitute teacher one time. I'll never.
I did not know he subbed.
I'll never forget this. I didn't know he did either.
Okay.
Until I walked in class.
He walked in.
I'll never forget this. It was a language class. I had him 6th period, I believe it was. And it was the state title year. It was a Friday night, and it was in January or February. I can't remember which one. But I walked in class, and I remember I looked at him, and I kind of looked at my class. I'm like, Coach, what are you doing in here?
We going over the history of basketball.
I'm like, Coach, what are you doing in here? He's like, hey, you got me today. I'm like, okay. And the Rolodex, and I mean, everything kind of just started going through my mind, and I'm like, wait a minute, today's Friday. They have a game. We ain't doing nothing
in school. Go. No.
And sure enough, we did not do a single thing.
See, now you're telling on him.
It's okay. He
already cashed that check.
He doesn't work at the school anyway.
He don't care either.
He doesn't. That was 16 years ago.
We watched Love and Basketball.
We did not do that. I played cards.
Yeah. Gary was going over scouting plans.
He most definitely was.
That should be a whole podcast topic, is what we did with substitute teachers and who they were. We might get a couple unfollows on that, especially in my class. But was that your third?
No, Coach K was
Coach
not
K,
my third.
okay.
He was not.
All right.
I figured he was going to go on.
Right.
I figured he was. So my third boys coach. I'm going to go to Miami Trace, and I'm going to go with Ben Ackley on this one.
Yeah.
I've known Ben for over 10 years, back when he was, coaching Miami Trace's girls.
Yep.
And I mean, just running that program with such excellence. Getting them all the way to the Final Four in 2017. They were winning, conference titles, winning districts, just being tough outs. They played with such a grittiness and such a toughness. And I mean, they played for him. He coached for them. It was just a perfect marriage between him and that program, and he seamlessly made the transition to go over to coach the boys. I believe that was 3 years ago.
2 or 3,
2 or 3 years ago, and I mean, winning has just followed.
Yep.
Winning has just followed. Conference titles. He's been in a district final as well. They're possibly going to break through, win the district title this year. I mean, just no matter the situation you throw at him, he figures it out.
Yeah.
He knows his X's and O's. He knows the game. He understands how to press the right buttons. Strengths and weaknesses, not just his players but opposing players as well. There's just so many things that he does, and so many things that he knows, and it just makes him just the phenomenal coach that he is. I believe last season he got his 200th career. Probably
he's getting up there. Yeah,
he's up there somewhere in the 200s, near the 300s. I mean, just a winning coach with a winning formula, a winning program, and I mean he's been the face of Miami Trace basketball, girls or boys.
He's won a regional title.
Yeah,
they went to the girl on the girls side.
Yep, Final Four 2017, which I mean that was an unbelievable run. We weren't covering them then,
right?
But
what was
I saw them. I saw them 3 times a year, all against Chillicothe as well. They beat Chillicothe all 3 times. I'm sure that still probably sticks in Pat's craw.
Well, now you still got to play him.
I know, still got to play him. Oh man,
you really look at it.
Think about that either.
Like, Max Morrow said something on the Haynes Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In show. If you look at that league, I think 4 of the 4 of the 6 teams have the former girls coaches.
Girls coaches, yeah.
Jared Haynes, Pat Beard, Ben Ackley. I'm forgetting one. It might be 3.
3 of them.
But yeah, I mean, at least half of the league used to be girls coaches and played against each other.
Yep.
So now they're just maybe on Friday nights instead of Tuesdays.
And I believe all 3 won district titles with the girls.
Yeah.
Pat did in 2016. Ben did in 2017.
I don't know that Jared did.
I'm not sure if Jared was their coach when McLean won in 2014. I believe it was.
Probably. I mean, he was there. I can't remember if they won the league, a district in 14. But
yeah, they did.
Well,
I do remember that.
Ben is a great segue into the girls players segment of the GOATs, right? It was a player that he played against very, very fondly. Maybe not fondly. I wouldn't want to play against her, but Chillicothe's Osh Brown. That's my first GOAT. Obviously she goes to Ball State and dominates. She's overseas playing now and probably still dominating. But she was, for me, one of those first, kids where it was like, okay, she's special. And the crazy thing about Osh is she didn't play basketball up until like high school.
Correct. Yeah. Her freshman year was the first time she had played.
And then she went pro.
Yeah. Exactly.
And now Pat Beer would love to take credit for that. But now Pat does deserve a lot of credit for that.
That's
He taught her a lot. But Osh was such a quick learner. And when she had the ball in her hands, this is 8 p.m. marquee special basketball. You want to watch.
Yeah.
Something special was going to happen, and like you said, they win a district title with her on the team, go to the regional semi, and they ended up playing like Trey Burke's sister.
Yeah, ended up playing her, Armani Burke.
And
I remember her
God,
name.
that team was good, and Osh was banged up in that game, and I think if she plays that whole game, they win that game. But even at that level, at that stage, there's a ton of people there that night, and Osh showed out. I mean, she was Osh, and I did an interview with her. I think it was either a sophomore or junior year, and that's when I found out, hey, she didn't play in 8th grade. Like, what do you mean she didn't play in 8th grade? She hasn't been playing her whole life, and no, she just learned post moves now. And I'm like, what? There's no way. She had a spin move on the block that was just unbeatable. And I mean, you don't defend that; you try to contain it. So, Osh was definitely, I think, 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds. I want to say
correct on both.
And I mean, probably, and I'll probably get hate for this, but probably the best player in girls' history at Chillicothe. And if not, she's in the top 3.
I mean, I know a couple people who would probably argue with that.
I'm not saying she's the top. She's got to be top 3.
Yeah, 100%.
To me, she's the top. She's the best I've ever covered there, but it's not close.
I mean that's fair. That's fair.
But history, girls wise, she's probably the top 3, and easily in the top 3.
100%. Honestly, she has a solid case for number 1.
Well, I mean, nobody else probably had 1,000 and 1,000. I mean, unless you're talking about way back when, which where we don't remember. But and I'm sure there's somebody that's like you said, well, what about this?
Yeah.
But I mean, if you saw Osh play, you understand what we're talking about.
100%. She was actually the first person on my list.
So we match.
Yeah. So we match. So I guess I'm going to double down on this one.
That's because she's your family.
I mean, that's true. She is.
That doesn't. You're just that's bias.
She is a bit.
As people say
bit,
that,
A little bit. She is my family. It's way down the line. I don't know how far down the line, but yeah, she was a joy to watch.
She was a good kid.
That too. She was relentless,
and she was a monster on the court, and then off the court she was just so soft and shy spoken, and it was like that kid's the kid that just dropped 32 and grabbed 15.
Okay, cool. Got it. I remember their FAC. I want to say it was their FAC championship. They were at McLean. I want to say this was 2013. I think it was at the time, 2013, 2014 maybe. And I mean it was the game was just this tight.
Always was
the entire way through. And I mean Osh that game. I think she only had like 6 points that game. But she had 25 rebounds. I'm like, good God Almighty! And I mean, she had so many. She had so many that I ran out of paper to keep tally.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, got it.
We'll start a second sheet.
I kept having to kind of like squeeze, and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of running out of room here. I'm like, well, I know she's not going to stop, so I guess we're going to flip the paper over and we're going to keep going. Yeah, she had 25 rebounds. They won that game. I remember Bree Dawes got her 1,000th point that night.
Yeah, they used to play those games on the district titles and the district games at Adina. I kind of miss that.
Yeah, very true.
They were kind of cool. That was a cool setting for district basketball.
Yep, no doubt.
Well, I will. We'll go from Osh Brown and we'll stay kind of in this area.
Okay.
And this is a kid that is actually still playing. I got to make sure I got her on my list. Yeah. Well, in order. It's not really in order, but you know what I mean.
Okay.
And that she's still playing Smiley Smith, Unioda. I don't know how you watch basketball in any area and you don't think that kid's one of the best 3 kids I've ever watched.
Yep.
Smooth. That's what I think when it comes to Miley. She just like butter. I mean, it's constant with her. Where if she wants to play in a night, she'll score 40. If she don't want to play, she still scores 20 and makes it look like.
She did the other night.
That was easy.
She had 45 the other night.
Well, now she holds the program record for points in a career, the program record for single game points. She's creeping up on 1,800 points now. Probably has an outside shot at 2,000. I would
she'll
think.
Get 2,000. She'll get it.
I think the record's 2,200 and something in Ross County. So
Ellis Gaines has that. Yeah.
Ellis Gaines, who's by the way.
Speaking of goats.
Yeah, but Miley, she just, led them to a district title. Well, has led them to 2 district titles.
Yeah.
And I mean, as a freshman, she burst on the scene with a tip back at the buzzer that I think a lot of people will never forget. You talk about legendary moments, and she stepped into that moment as a freshman, and it was like, okay, she's here.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, what you have to remember about her is when you look at her point totals. When she's playing, a lot of times they're up by 30, 40 points or whatever it may be. She's sitting the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So I truly believe that she probably has the Ross County record if she plays all 4 quarters. And that's no slight to Ella. I mean, Ella was a heck of a player. But I think that the SVC was maybe a little bit better, in terms of like all the way around, where she had to be in all 4 quarters. But Miley's won a district title.
2 of them.
I'm sorry, 2 district titles. Yeah, she's never, I don't think, ever lost an SVC game.
No.
Her record speaks for itself, and I mean, if you haven't gotten a chance to see her play, time's limited. Go see her play.
You've got probably 15 games to do so.
Like my wife is not like a huge basketball fan, but she told me earlier in the season, "Hey, I want to go see Miley play." And so we went to the Circleville game where they played him this year, and I think she had like 29, but she had like. I don't know, it was like 8 at halftime.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, you could just see Yoda pull away, and it was the Miley show. And I told Jenny, I was like, this is my wife, that's how it is every night.
Yeah,
she turns the switch on, and it's uh-oh.
Pretty much. We're agreeing a lot here.
Okay, we got 2 and 2.
Yeah, we got 2 and 2.
Well, that means that they're really good players.
I mean, it's very true. I mean, it's not just because we're from Chillicothe, we've seen the area so much. It's just because these girls are literally just that talented.
Well, I tell you what, we'll go out of Chillicothe.
I will on my next one.
So there you go. Hopefully we'll probably match again.
No, I don't think we will on this one.
Eastern Browns, Riley Leonard.
Okay, no, we're not going to match. She's a great one, though.
Riley, I mean, she holds Eastern Brown's all-time scoring record. I'm sure she holds it in a single game record. I don't know that for sure, but I'm sure. Riley, I think, what? 2 or 3 district titles? I can't remember.
One as a freshman, one as a junior, so 2.
So at least 2.
Yeah, at least 2.
I mean, I think over 2,300 points. She was well over 2,000. She was. You get her open behind the 3-point line, just go ahead and count it. She's playing at, I believe, Thomas More. Now and having success there, playing a lot of minutes. We talked about Rob Buechler at Eastern Brown. The basketball tradition goes. It's deep there, and for the Warriors, and Riley was probably one of the best to ever do it in a Warrior uniform. And that's saying something in that program.
Yeah.
So another kid that a lot of kids we see, like you said, as a freshman going to a senior, and I know now who your third is. You don't have to say it. I just thought of it because I should have put her on my list. But
I still don't think you know who my third is.
I think I do.
I don't think you do.
Well, if not, we're both wrong. All right. So, anyways, Riley, and you talk about the Shack.
Yeah.
They had to win big games. I mean, North Adams, you had Peebles, who JC Justice should be on the list. She's a GOAT, and there's not even. I don't know if you picked her or not, but that's 3A.
I did not. See, there's so many.
There are.
There's some, and I mean that's just alone in the Shack.
Yeah, I mean you're right.
There's so many we could.
But I would put JC right up there with Miley. I'd put JC right up there with Riley. JC was now that Riley was the pick. And I'll split it between Riley and JC because JC, I mean, I don't know how we ever forgot about that name. She led them to, a regional final?
Led them to a regional final.
And that's Peebles.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything, but Peebles is a small school. They don't get to regional finals in girls basketball, and JC was, she was just special. And I know I've said special a lot, but spectacular. I mean, she was,
it's true.
Ball was in her hands, and it's like, this is fun. She meets with Riley,
Yeah.
Twice a year.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is prime time basketball.
That's grab your popcorn. Let's go.
Probably the first time, if you need even further proof that Riley and JC are both GOATs, the first time I covered Peebles against Eastern Brown, I walked in, I thought it was a boys' game. Because there were so many people there.
Yeah.
The Shack does it differently. If you're from Ross County and you've never been to a Shack game, if you're from Pike, Scioto County, you've never been to a Shack basketball game, between two Shack schools, it's a boys' game. And that's the atmosphere you have. And you can't find a place to sit.
No.
And when those two played each other, or Eastern Brown and North Adams, or Peebles and North Adams back then, I mean, it was primetime viewing. I mean, you wanted to be there. And it was funny, Kevin Pickrell, who could also be a GOAT, but Kevin Pickrell, who is Eastern Brown's head coach now, was then, he told me after a game one time they played North Adams, we're all friends. We're going to go to Subway after the game and get us up. We're going to get something to eat. Now, we hate each other on the court.
Yeah.
We're bitter enemies.
Yeah.
But we're all going to go down here to the Subway, and see him and get a and I'm just like, it's just such a close-knit community in the Shack. And Riley, I mean, she was one of my favorites and one of my wife's favorites. She was taking pictures at the time. Great family. I mean, just, an incredible basketball player. And then JC, with Billy Joe there as her head coach, and the things that she was able to do for that program. She just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, I think last week or the week before at Peebles. So both those kids they deserve the world, and I mean their record speak for itself.
100%. Honestly, I had completely forgotten about JC.
I'm not gonna lie, me too, and I don't know how. I mean,
because there's just so many great players that we've covered.
Yeah.
But also at the same point, when you're making these lists, there's also sometimes a bit of a personal touch.
Yeah.
Maybe you've seen kids, more times than others.
Well, see, Riley and Eastern Brown, they were good throughout her entire career.
Yep.
Where JC's team was good, but then you add Peyton Johnson onto that team, and they become great.
Yep.
And so, we didn't see a lot of JC in her freshman or sophomore year.
That's true.
We started seeing her junior and senior. Eastern Brown was good throughout that entire time.
Yep.
They were playing in the regional semis against, the Wheelersburgs of the world, and then it was time. Well, North Adams, they met at Hillsborough High School, I believe, as well.
Yep.
Me and you were both at that game, and there were just so many players around Riley where she could just do her thing, where JC had to force a lot more, and she'd still score.
Yeah.
But she kind of was a one-man show, where Eastern kind of went further a lot of those years because they were just a better team.
That's true.
If you would.
That's true. Well, I mean, I kind of just mentioned the personal touch a little bit. Seeing a team and a player, more times than you saw others, and maybe that had a little bit to do with my list, but nonetheless, I'm going down to Vinton County for mine. Morgan Bentley.
I should have known that.
Yeah, Morgan Bentley. I got the chance.
I thought you were going to say Cameron Zen.
I kind of thought about it.
Okay, I mean either one, they're interchangeable
I kind of thought
too.
about it.
But Morgan was.
If this was volleyball goats, Cameron would probably be my number one.
That's fair.
Yeah, Morgan was she was just a heck of a player. Could shoot the heck out of the ball. Had the ability to go inside to bully you out of the way. Be sure that either A, she's going to make the shot, or B, get the contact to get 2 foul shots, and she's going to knock them down either way. Vinton County's all-time leading scorer on the girls' side. I believe 1,538 points. I want to say that was the record. Won four TVC titles, went to 3 district finals, won their only one in program history, and then just continued the run, went through Tri-Valley, went through Sheridan, and then in what is arguably probably the best girls game I've ever seen.
I'll agree with that.
They beat Shaker Heights Laurel.
Yep.
In the Final Four, 53-51, came down to a last 8-second shot somewhere around there, and I mean Cameron Zen just has the ball for 32 seconds, and then just somehow just weaves her way, throws up a hook shot, and it goes in. and I remember being there, and I'm like, I cannot believe I just saw that.
So I took pictures that game.
You took pictures. You took pictures. To this day on the Courier's page, it's still the most liked photo gallery ever.
Really?
It's not even close.
Well, At least I don't even know if I got credit for it.
I gave you credit.
My man.
I gave you credit.
I
On the
knew we were
Facebook
friends.
page. See, I had your back, man. I had your back.
So you're saying in the paper that they've all got printed at their house that was my name on there?
100%.
Oh, that's sweet. I didn't see you learn,
Oh yeah.
I got lucky is what I did. I just pushed a button and the camera did the work. But
I mean, yeah.
that was a heck of
That's true.
well, we went up both days, I believe.
Yeah, we did. Well,
And-
yeah, it was back to back night. It was back to back.
Yep.
So yeah, they played that Friday afternoon and then that Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they weren't able to win the state championship.
They were there.
But I mean, a 26-2 season.
Yep.
Just. I got the chance to know her really well. Got the chance to know her family.
So her dad was the head coach, right, Brad?
Her dad was the head coach. Such a fiery guy, but just absolutely, just would do anything for those kids, and I mean vice versa. And I mean they were led by her, and she was a heck of a ball player. Could probably still play today. I don't know where she's at today. She's probably graduated college by now, I'm guessing, because that was a 2021 season. We're now in 2026. So yeah, but Morgan would be on my list of basketball goats.
Well, as you said, there are so many kids that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee Darnell comes to mind in the girls' side. I mentioned Peyton Johnson earlier.
Mm-hmm.
She comes to mind on the girls' side. Ellis Keynes comes to mind. Aaron. I'm going to forget her last name. Erin Daniels. We didn't get a chance to see her from Minford, but she was.
Minford.
I mean, you heard stories about her.
Yep.
And I mean, there's just so many great players over the years, and there's so many more that we didn't get a chance to see in history. I think these lists are more personalized, like you said, to where what we've been able to see. But just I think a lot of my picks are what they did off the court too.
True.
The type of people they were, and just how they acted on court. The respect they had for their teammates and coaches, and even their opponents, and that goes into it too. So, one of the boys that I picked. You talk about respect for teammates and coaches and opponents. One of my goats, we'll start on the boys' side, Mr. Brandon Moffmer. He's one of my favorite kids just of all time. Not even just one of my favorite kids of all time.
Yeah.
Way back when I was working as a 7th grade intervention teacher at Chillicothe Middle School, and I had Brandon in class. And it was funny because Brandon was probably the best athlete in that class, and he was the one you never heard a peep out of.
True.
He would go in, he'd do his homework, and you're like, oh, Brandon's here at the end of class. You'd check off attendance. Oh, Brandon, I didn't see you here.
Okay, there you are.
It just continued throughout his whole entire high school career in football and basketball. And, I mean, he was just, I talk about smooth. Brandon just had it. He had the it factor. I don't think that they ever did win a district title because they were in Division I. Or am I wrong on that?
Listen, they were in Division I for his final 2 years.
Okay,
for his final 2 years, they lost in sectionals his freshman year, and then they were in the district title in 2016.
But I don't think they won that game.
No, they lost to Fairfield Union.
Yes, and you look at Chillicothe, and they're a little bit bigger than the other schools. At that point, at least, they had to go through. You talk about a gauntlet to win a district title. But Brandon was just. I mean, he was again. I think he had 1,000 points. He was. I mean, the way he played the quarterback position was just unbelievable. But I think Brandon is. A lot of people maybe not put him up there. I'm 100% putting him up there every time because of how he acted on the court. He could hit a huge three and just walk back.
True.
He never said anything to anybody, and I mean he never got mouthy. He never got anybody else's faces, and I think a lot of times we see that a lot now, and I get it. It's the spirit of the game. It's competitive. You're in the moment, and you got a lot of emotions running. Brandon was just cool, calm, and collected constantly.
Yeah.
And he was better than Javon. So.
I knew you were gonna sneak that in.
I
knew you were gonna sneak that
one of my favorite moments of all time with the Moffmer family. I think back when
shout out my family.
Back when Javon, God, he was a heck of a player too. He still is. He's still playing as well. But and Javon he's probably a conversation with the GOAT as well.
He could be. He very well could be.
Him Trey Beard, but yeah, I mean Brandon. So I'd always tell Javon, hey Brandon, you'll never be your brother. And Javon, come on, man, And so Brandon was just laughing.
Why you gotta do me like that, man?
And so I think it came up with my Facebook memories like last week. And I had tagged Brandon and Javon and then Mike, their dad, in some type of article. I don't know what it was. And I was like, keep doing your thing, Brandon. Javon, you'll never be your brother. Mike, you got to let him know, or something like I said. And so Mike commented on there and said, you're making family dinners really awkward. All right. And so you talk about a good family. I mean, that entire family is magnificent. And
they are.
I mean, top notch. And Brandon was probably one of my favorite kids of all time.
Oh, my God.
And again, like you said, I'm probably a little biased when I say that. But
it's okay.
If I could go back and cover, maybe any boy in high school, the player, it'd probably be Brandon.
Didn't you start a fight between them to where literally on Christmas break and it snowed, they shoveled their driveway and just played one-on-one to just prove a point?
I don't know. I'm sure Brandon won that game.
He might have.
But
I remember something along those lines.
It's funny. They were two different players, right?
Completely different. Yeah.
Javon could shoot.
Yeah.
You get him open, and he could create his own shot. I mean, he go ahead and count it on the board. Brandon could drive, and he could shoot too, but I think Javon was a little bit better of a shooter.
Yeah.
Where Brandon could do a little bit of everything, and he could get to the bucket so well. He was just so, it was like he was slippery. Nobody could touch him. And Javon was more of a presence physically, and he could shoot from about anywhere.
Yep.
Well, he still can. He's still playing.
Both of them still are. Both overseas are playing. Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. I wonder if they're living together, still playing one-on-one.
I doubt it.
They need to meet in like London.
I mean, it's possible.
Or wherever they are.
Let's see. Last I knew, I think Javon's in Poland.
Okay, all right.
Javon's in Poland, and I think Brandon's signed in Germany.
So there you go.
Yeah, well,
they're close.
Geographically, I don't know how close they are.
It don't matter. Meet in Berlin. Film it, send it to SOSA. We'll live stream it. All right? Let's settle all bragging rights.
We are going international.
We're going international. There you go.
To be fair, it does say world.
I would say it does. Yeah. So anyway, my first pick, Brandon Moffmer. He's one of my goats.
Oh gosh, we're having too much fun with this.
We are.
I mean, to be.
It's my bedtime.
Goodness gracious.
I'm old.
Oh my gosh, it's not mine. I won't be in bed for like 2.5 more hours.
You got to wake up earlier than I do.
I know.
Anyway.
And you say I never go to work. Anyway.
I said you go to work, you don't do anything.
Okay.
That's fair.
That's untrue.
Okay.
Anyway, my first boys go. We talked about their team earlier. So now I guess I'll just kind of single out the player, even though we both have talked about him. Miles Montgomery from Memphis.
Yep, that's fair.
All-time leading scorer. Just a fantastic athlete. Fantastic player, but such a great kid off of the field, off of the court. I mean, you touched on it a little bit. Always gave credit to God, no matter what it was. He's huge into his faith. He leaned into it. And I mean, anything that kid did, it turned to gold. Mm-hmm. Getting Memphis to the state championship in soccer, getting them to the Final Four, and boys basketball, anything and everything he wanted to do, he could have. I know there's professional cornhole leagues. He'd probably be the top player as well. I mean, just a kid who could do it all. A kid who was unselfish on the court. Just did anything and everything with the will to win, but did it in such a classy and such a humble way. Fiery competitor, but never crossed any lines.
I agree. Yep.
So he kept it respectful. And I mean, just fantastic all the way around. So, Miles, you get a spot on my GOAT list, even though you're the first one I listed. That doesn't mean you're number one, but you're up there.
Well, I'll stay in the SOC and go with Mr. Tanner Holden.
Okay.
I mean, duh, right? Like, the first time I watched Tanner play, it was, you talk about eye-popping numbers. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, okay. That I think it might have been even one of the first times we covered Wheelersburg's boys. Mm-hmm. But you heard about this kid, and then you heard about this kid. And then you went and watched him. You're like, no, that makes sense. I know I've heard about him so much. I've never seen him, but I've heard about him. That's why. I think he dunked twice, dropped 37, had 15. I mean, just and it was run-of-the-mill game for him. Mm-hmm. It was okay. Well, that's Tanner Holden. Yeah. Nobody blatted an eye. I'm like, that's one of the best performances I've ever seen. And they're like, well, it's just Tanner.
That's true.
So he goes to Wright State, and he's a GOAT at Wright State.
Yep.
they think a lot of him. Where he went to Ohio State for a year as well.
Did hit a game winner.
He did hit a game winner. And I don't think a lot of people thought what was it. Did he step out of bounds? Anyways, it doesn't matter because they called it a game winner.
They thought he traveled.
Maybe that's what it was. Either way, when you go back to that game, it says W next to it. So, but yeah, I mean Tanner. And then what I like about Tanner since then, I've seen him at Wheelersburg.
100%.
He comes back to his community, and gives back, and talks to the the little guys and gals that want his autograph, and Tanner always in post game interviews was very cordial, but you could tell he knew the game. He was so smart, and he had that IQ on the court that really I don't know that I've ever seen matched in on the boys' side, but. Tanner was in the Elite Eight. They won a couple district titles, and you knew you had your hands full when you had to guard that kid, any night. But yeah, that I'd put Brandon right up there with Tanner, and I think that makes a good 1-2 punch.
Yeah, for sure. My next one, I'm gonna keep it somewhat recent. I'm actually gonna switch. I'm actually gonna switch up a little bit.
Okay.
I gotta remember who.
We're just doing it on the fly. That's fine.
Kind of on the fly.
I get it.
Switch up a little bit. Branson Copus.
Okay.
North Adams, all-time leading scorer there as well. I found that out when I was covering the girls a few weeks ago. I happened to just look up and I'm like, okay, who's their leading scorer? I'm like, okay, there's Nathan Copus. I'm like, okay, he's got I think it was like 15, 13. I'm like, oh, there's Branson. Oh, 15, 37. Oh, he beat his dad. Beat his dad's records. Okay.
Yeah, but his dad would probably tell me he beat him 1-on-1.
Oh, 100. Yeah, probably so. But Branson was just he was the ultimate competitor. A silent assassin.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw him talk that much on the court. I could be wrong about that, but just from my viewpoint, from my standpoint, I never really saw him talk much. I saw him shoot the ball and get buckets.
Yeah,
and I mean he did it. He did it effortlessly, night in and night out. Won 2 district titles at North Adams, back-to-back years. Player of the year. Currently down at Rio, I believe. Having a ton of success down there. I mean, just willing North Adams every single night. They were a team. They were such a talented team, but they weren't like a big team.
Right.
They were all relatively 5'11", 6 feet tall.
They're just pesky.
Yeah, but they all played as if they were 6 feet 8. It didn't matter. They were physical. They could shoot you out of a game, and if they were out of a game, they're gonna come right back in the game somehow, some way, and they're gonna figure out how to win. And I mean, he was the leader of that. Just a fantastic kid, great kid to talk to after games. Gave a bunch of credit to his teammates. Never really talked about himself, despite you could say, well, Branson, you had 28 tonight. What was working for you? My teammates. They did it all. I didn't really do much. I simply just played my game, and my teammates did all the dirty work. And I mean, I know I get the points. I get the credit for the points, but it's those guys that really did everything. So just the ultimate player, the ultimate competitor. I'd want him in my foxhole for sure.
I mean, that's fair. My third was we've talked about it with Miles Montgomery, but I would throw in right there with him Bennett Kaiser.
Yeah.
We talked about his dunk earlier and that game, but Bennett was fun to watch. He was he talked a little bit.
He did,
but
he was not.
It was
shy.
all in, I think, competition,
100%.
Good competition, and. He was just he played above the rim, a lot. But Miles was on my list as well. And then in all of this, we completely skipped girls basketball coaches. So
we can circle back to.
We'll circle back to that, and we'll close out. First on my list on the girls basketball coaches is Mr. John Buchanan down in Fairland.
Nice.
Obviously. The recent success, like you said, recency bias you can sometimes have, but John's won, and that's not just recent. He's just always won.
Yeah.
When we first started covering, girls basketball, and we didn't cover the OVC yet, I was like, oh gosh, well. Whoever we got to play, right? Whoever we got to cover, they got to play fair. It's like season's over, and that's kind of how it felt. And
in a way.
Then we got to meet John and get to know him a little bit, and it was like, oh, okay, well that's why. And he's had a ton of talent too.
Yeah.
But John, you talk about coaches that care about their programs and work at the lower levels. I mean, John puts on clinics for little kids.
Yeah.
And they're future dragons.
Yeah.
That's you talk about program building. That's what John Buchanan has done at Fairland, and they had the Tri-State Hoops Throwdown. I think it was their 10th or 11th year. I think it was their 11th year, but one got snowed out. So basically they're 10th, but it's grown so much. They've been to the Final Four numerous times in the last 5 years, 6 years.
5 years, I think they've been there 2 or 3 times.
I think it's at least 3 times.
Yeah.
They've been each of the last 2 years. They've won a region.
3 years. 3 years.
There you go. I mean, so. They just, and again, they've had great kids come through the program, but the kids have always mirrored what John has taught. And so I just have a ton of respect for him. I love watching him coach, and especially in big games, because he gets amped, and you can tell his kids feed off of him. And he's one of those coaches where he can be hard on a kid, instructing them to do something, but it's all out of love. And you can tell the kid reciprocates that. Like, the player knows, okay, I got you, coach, and they want to go back out there and run through a brick wall for him because it's Coach Buchanan.
Yeah.
So that would be my first probably GOAT is Coach John Buchanan. Fairland.
Hey, respect that. All the respect. They're probably going to end up back in the 4th straight.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, they're just as talented this year as they were the previous years.
And Godby's playing out of her mind. Bailey Russell can shoot it. I mean, they've got a couple young kids that have come up and helped. Issa's down there. Taliaferro. Taliaferro. See, I get Issa right, but not Taliaferro. We watched her as a freshman, and we're like, okay, that kid's gonna be really good, and she's really good. So yeah.
And the one I think the one thing that helps their success is that it doesn't matter if you're brand new to the program or what. You're playing. Yeah. He's going to throw you in the fire.
You're going to get, and you're going to play quality minutes. And he brings out the best.
100%. I'm gonna go back to North Adams with mine. Rob Davis.
Okay, that's fair.
Just recently got his 400th career victory. And I mean he's had some great teams, had some great players, and I mean, just squeezes everything he can out of them. He's one of the most intense coaches that I've seen. But you can tell he's intense for the right reasons. Sure. Quick story. When I covered them about 3 weeks ago, they were 4 seconds into the second half. 4 seconds, committed a turnover.
Called a timeout.
He called a timeout.
Yeah.
He called a timeout, and it wasn't that he called a timeout. He yelled timeout, and he yelled it so loud that I'm sitting underneath the basket. It scared me because I didn't see it coming. I audibly jumped. I was like, oh.
Now you know how the girls feel, right?
Exactly. Oh, I can only imagine. That was just my view from underneath the basket. I can only imagine what they were feeling going into that huddle. But he's just a fantastic coach. Knows how to win. Couple district titles to his name. Went to the Elite Eight. 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, I believe it was. Probably.
I think 2 and 3 or 4 years ago.
2 and 3 or 4 years.
He was in a regional. I think they beat Eastern Brown at Logan. I remember if you remember that night.
I'm trying to remember that night.
There's been a lot of nights.
Yeah, there's been a lot of nights, a lot of tournament games. I probably wasn't even. Yeah,
I don't know that you were there that night.
I probably
it might not have been you. You're probably somewhere else covering something.
That's very true. Just knows the game, has a passion for the game, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a team of seniors or a team of freshmen. He's going to get the absolute best out of you. They're going to win games. They're going to win. They're going to be in contention for SHAC titles. Win SHAC titles as well. Rob Davis, you get my first stamp as one of the basketball goats.
Well, I will transition from John Buchanan and go to Mr. Jeff Miller. And here comes my Uniota bias. I think I picked a team and 2 coaches. I don't care. You know what? If you want to beat him, hire him.
These are all personal lists.
That's fire, by the way. If you want to beat him, hire him.
If you want to beat him,
because you're not going to beat him. I mean, that's kind of how
that's fair.
That's what I think about Jeff. And
that's fair.
There are some coaches where when you talk to, I say this about Teresa Rubio on the softball side all the time, and it's true. Even as a reporter that knows the game, I learn when I talk to Jeff Miller. I learn more about the game. Jeff has forgot more about basketball than I've ever known. And when he walks into an SVC contest or any contest really, but when he walks into a contest, to me, because of the way that he coaches, he's already got a 5-point advantage. Hey, here's a handicap. Here's 5-point handicap.
It's probably more than 5.
But you know what I'm saying? And he has coached in big games. He's won 2 district titles in the last 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Well, and they might have another this year, so it'll be 3 of 4 if they win this year.
Yeah.
But he's won. I think he won one back with the Overly twins as well. So went and played West Holmes that night, if you remember, in the regional semi. So, but again, Jeff is one of those coaches where he's not always had a ton of talent. He's had talent, and I'm like, well, he's got Miley Smith. Well, he's not always had Miley Smith.
That's true.
He's one of those coaches that just knows the game and can scout with the best of them. You give him tape, and he's going to exploit every weakness you got. And again, he's probably going to become Uniota's all-time winningest coach, and both boys or girls basketball. Going to probably pass Matt Hoops at some point, probably this year, if he keeps going like he is, and that's not even a thing of like tenure. He's been there a while, and he's won a lot of ball games, but he's earned the wins.
Sure.
And so I'm talking about tournament wins too. They've ramped up their non-league schedule over the last 3 or 4 years now, and they continue just to win. So that'd be stamp 2 of approval is Mr. Jeff Miller, Uniota.
Respect. I'm going down to the river on this one.
Okay.
You went to Fairland.
Okay.
I'm going to go just a little bit closer.
All right.
I'm going to go to Wheelersburg. Dusty Spradlin.
Okay. All right.
Recently got his 400th career.
Yeah. So I'll just say we're going to match on this.
Okay.
Because Dusty was my third.
Dusty was your third one? All right. Fair enough then. Dusty's just another guy who just maximizes talent. And I mean he's had a lot of great players and I mean some fantastic teams. The team that went to the Final Four 2 or 3 years
Keeney
ago.
and Walker and
with
Eaton. Macy was on that team. Yep.
Yeah.
Whitaker,
Sure was. Yeah, I mean that team that was a team that I believe the year prior I want to say they had lost 7 seniors.
Well, they lost Kaylee Darnell, they lost Ellie Cowner. I mean they lost a ton of talent.
Yeah, lost a ton of talent, and somehow, some way, just continued to fight, continued to improve, and just hit a hot streak at the right time. And I mean of all the teams he had.
That team. I agree.
That team.
Not that they weren't good. I mean,
100% they were, but that team was the team to break through.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, make their first ever Final Four, which considering that it's Wheelsburg, is kind of crazy to think about. Of all the great teams and programs that they have, that was the one that hadn't made the Final Four just yet. And then they did it. Yeah. They did it. And I mean, Dusty's just an incredible guy.
First class. Yep.
All the way. Just one of the most respectful coaches that I've ever talked to. Every coach is respectful. Don't get me wrong. But there's just a different level with him. Just talking to him, you learn more instantly. It doesn't matter what it's about.
Yep.
Just a fantastic coach. A fantastic human being.
Yeah.
Just someone who cares so deeply, way more than it goes way beyond basketball. He just wants the best for his kids.
I'll just be honest with you. Sometimes I go cover Wheelsburg just to talk to Dusty.
That's true.
And I'm being very serious. Now, he always bugs me and says it's just when they play at Waverly because I don't want to drive very far. And he might be onto something there.
It might be 50-50
Having said that, I tell him, you got to stop beating people by 30, and then I'll come cover you guys, So he's like, now you're sounding like a Wheelsburg fan, But you're right. He's a great guy. And I'll throw in an honorable mention here.
Okay.
Is Kevin Pickerel.
Okay.
Because I can't. We talked about we talked about Riley Leonard and those teams, and Kevin. I mentioned his name earlier. Eastern Brown, man. They put out a post not too long ago that said we're blessed with the best, and put up pictures of Kevin and Pickerel and Rob Buechler, and they're not lying. I mean, I don't think there's a better 1-2 punch in boys and girls basketball. Maybe somebody's tied, but it's hard to beat.
I can't argue.
It'd be hard to beat Rob Buechler and Kevin Pickerel. And then Kevin used to help out Rob
Sure
on the
did.
bench for the boys.
Yeah, in
And
the early
I mean,
2000s,
can you imagine that coaching staff?
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I'd throw his name out there as well. And again, there's so many great coaches around our area.
Yeah.
I think we've tried to focus, especially coaching wise, and even players on, career accomplishments, points scored, wins, and coaching wins. There's a lot of like new coming coaches that I think if they stayed in their program, they could be GOATs, if going forward.
Yeah.
But I think every name that we mentioned tonight, had 1,000 points or 1,000 rebounds,
Yeah.
or had at least 300 to 400 wins career wise. So, I mean.
True. I mean,
Argue with your mama.
The final name for me, I'm not sure if he eclipsed 400. I'm not sure if he eclipsed 300. He probably.
So you're gonna prove me wrong
did.
now.
I don't know. We're gonna find out. J.D. McKenzie from Notre Dame.
Well, he had a lot. Let's put it that way. He had a lot.
He had a lot. He had a lot of conference titles, a lot of district titles. A lot of great players as well.
I just wish he'd have stayed.
I
miss JD.
I do too.
I'd tell him that too. He knows that. He knows we miss him.
100% he does. For me, and I mean this one is exceptionally personal for me. What he did for me and for my life, my literal life.
Yeah.
He will forever be. He will forever be, the number one GOAT in my eyes because that night at Southeastern, I was mid sentence talking to him, and I went from talking to him to all of a sudden hearing him on the phone, hearing him asking me, "Hey Brock, what's your passcode on your phone so I can call your mom?" I'm like, "Oh, it's this. Here you go." He's like, "All right," and I mean.
He had just won a game. Yeah, was thinking about you. Yeah,
he just won a district semifinal game. That night, and I collapsed into his arms. Literally,
you love him that much?
Hey, what's not to love? What's not to love?
We should do a podcast, and the title is "When Brock Almost Died."
You know what?
People don't know that whole story.
That is true.
I'm just saying
that might actually be our next episode.
There you go. Let's talk about a night. Yeah.
The anniversary that's coming up.
Gosh,
anyway.
Don't tell me that. I don't like that.
I'm still here. I'm still right here.
Yeah, I don't like anniversaries of those types of things.
It's okay. Just what he did for me that night. Just making sure that I was okay, making sure that I got the care that I needed, right then and there in that split second, and just making sure that I was okay. Contacting my mom. Just letting her know, like, hey, you better get to the hospital because that's where your son is at currently. It's something that I can never repay. It's definitely something I will never forget. I will also never forget his words to me when I walked into, I believe it was Pickerington North.
At a tournament game.
Their next tournament game.
Yeah. By the way, he went to the next game.
I did. There's
dedication.
There's so much, and yes, I will gladly talk about this on the next episode. That's fine. I'll never forget his words to me when he saw me walk in, and I just went up to him and he said, "Hey, you're standing, and more importantly, you're black again." It's like, you're not pale. You got color.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that.
He did.
Oh, that's good stuff.
He's like, it's good to see you're black again because, boy, you were pale when you fell on me.
Yeah. Well, and if you don't know, again, maybe this is the next. I don't know. We just find episodes.
Yeah,
but
this will be.
I talked to him that night on the phones. Dude, what happened? And he kind of told me the story, and you could tell he was very, very attentive. When he was really supposed to be talking to his girls about a win.
Yeah.
And you ruined that. So
I was supposed to be talking to his girls about a win.
Well, that's
too.
fair. That's fair. We didn't even get a post-game interview. Thanks, Brock.
Sure did.
So yeah, I don't think a lot of people do know that story though.
No. So yeah, I'll gladly
how many
talk
years
about
has
that.
it been?
It's been 3 years.
Man, that's crazy.
3 years since then. So yeah, I will gladly talk about that story. on the next episode of Bad Company, which I believe, I think that does it for us tonight. Unless there's anything else that you wanted to add.
Nope, I just, argue with your mama and, post your own goats. These are our goats. So
fair enough. Well, once again, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening. We hope you guys enjoyed this conversation as much as it looked like we enjoyed this conversation, because it was a lot of fun. Once again, thank you to our sponsors, the Driving Authority, Hometown Chevrolet, and Chillicothe Truck. For Brock Netter, he is Derrick Webb. We will see you guys next time on the next episode of Bad Company.